So this is part 3 of our sword balancing little workshops, if you will, online. These are all free from the Lotus Sisters page, and here to help you with any sword balancing things that you might want to know. So ask me some questions if you like, I'll answer them very happily underneath. If you haven't seen the other sword videos, I recommend you go back, especially to number 1, because it tells you about which different types of swords you can get and the importance of finding a sword that suits you. So sword 1 is caring for your sword, sword 2 will be balancing it, finding the balance, and now we're on sword 3. You found your balance, you are ready to do some more things with it. So as I say, always start with a really relaxed position. Remember to breathe, because if you hold your breath you're tense and you'll find the sword doesn't balance as well. And now you're going to try something else. So one of the easiest balances, believe it or not, is actually your head. Once you've found your balancing point, and I like to find it on my thumb, you are going to take the sword, take it up, get your head set first. That's really important, because we don't want to adjust our head with the sword on it. We want to make sure our head and our neck and our shoulders are in a comfortable place, and we're going to lower it onto our head, and then the sword is balancing. I prefer to teach this on a bare head. I've got a hairband on today because it's windy, but I would highly recommend, when you're learning the sword, to teach yourself on a bare head. We don't learn in our group, even though we do wear headcloths sometimes, we don't learn with the headcloths, we learn on a hairband or a bare head, because you need to feel the sword. What I do not recommend is anyone learning the sword with a massive headdress and wedging it in the headdress, or designing their hair in a certain fancy style so that they can wedge the sword in between, you know, whatever hair decorations you've got in. Learn on your head. That way, just like we did in the hand in the second video, that way if the sword is slightly over to one side, you can feel it's over one side, and you're not going to adjust your head, you're going to push the sword up and then find the balancing point once more. So that's really important. If you feel the sword start to slip, you're not going to compensate with the head, because the sword will come off. You don't want that. You're going to lift the sword and put it back on your head. So that's really important, because we don't want anyone dropping swords. They're very, you know, they're quite dangerous, even though they're not sharp. If they land on your foot, you know about it. And also, don't ever be embarrassed about having to readjust, because it tells the audience that you're actually balancing it, that you haven't wedged it into anything, or you haven't got any weird magnets hidden in your headdress. So you're going to do that, you're going to adjust the sword, not your head. Really important. I've said that enough times now, it's really important. And then when you're balancing the sword, like any type of belly dancing that we're doing, our knees are bent, because that's where we can find our balance and our contact with the floor the easiest. If our legs are straight, we've got all our weight onto our kneecaps. We don't want that. We want to make sure that we've got a nice grounded base. Again, I always like to do it bare feet, because I can feel what's around me. I can feel if there's any cracks, for instance, on a stage, and then I know where to put my foot. And it's a meditative experience. I keep saying that because it is. Especially with a sword on your head, you can't make any sharp movements. If you're going to turn, this is really important, I like to turn in the direction of the hilt, and I turn with my eyes first and keep my shoulders and my head together. So and you notice I put my arm up there, and that is if you're turning quite a lot with your sword on your head, you'll find the sword starts to spin a bit faster than your body. So just raising your arm will act as a brake there. If you want to get the sword off, push it up and then take it off. So that is number 3 in our session.